48 hours to go, the pace is picking up. The first draft is out, which means there isn't a second to spare.
Can 1.5 still be achieved? And how optimistic are you?
Sorry, excuse me.
No time to talk now. The UN Secretary-General and politicians from every country rushing from meeting to meeting. It's increasingly chaotic, claustrophobic and critical.
Does the draft text keep 1.5 alive?
I think there are things that could be stated more powerfully.
There's a very good reason why we have set out a high ambition text, because that is what the world demands.
Keep it in the text, let's keep it in the text.
And what they're demanding is that nothing is negotiated out now, at a point when more reluctant countries traditionally push back.
Keep it in the ground.
The first draft urges countries to revisit their targets on cutting emissions with a deadline at the end of next year. It calls for coal and subsidies for fossil fuels to be phased out faster, the first time a UN deal has even mentioned them. And it presses developed nations to double the funding for poorer countries to adapt to a changing climate. No deadline for that, though.
Good afternoon.
And that's a problem for countries like India, already feeling let down by the developed world's failure to keep its promises on funding this year.
Because the climate finance is an obligation, it's not a charity.
So into the throng arrives the Prime Minister on a charm offensive.
Prime Minister, is this a rescue mission?
He needs to move quickly, with a second draft being written overnight for fresh scrutiny tomorrow.
The negotiations are getting tough, and with just a few days left, there is still a huge amount to do.
But then came an unexpected development that might just make getting it done more likely.
John Kerry has just announced a joint declaration, the US and China working together, and that really will be a big boost at this stage of the summit.
The US climate envoy and his Chinese counterpart putting aside their recent tensions and instead promising to address the climate crisis together this decade. But he wouldn't tell me if China planned to back the first draft of the COP declaration, urging a faster phasing out of coal.
Do you support it staying in the draft?
It's under negotiation, said his translator, and the Americans wouldn't be drawn either.
We can't have unabated fossil fuel fouling the atmosphere.
So the US will support that remaining in the final draft?
I don't know. I said I'm not getting specific about the language because I want to see it in full context. All right, we're going to go fast.
That sense of urgency is vital to limiting rising temperatures to 1.5 degrees. No agreement signed here can end the climate emergency, but a credible deal might give the world something to cling on to. Rachel Younger, News at 10, Glasgow.